Prince William, our future king, a man driven by passion, honour and duty.
He believes in the monarchy. He believes it has a purpose in modern society.
A monarch in waiting, whose life has been shaped by service.
Diolch yn fawr Mirig.
This is his story, told through his words.
I've seen on many occasions over the years how this charity empowers and mobilises young people.
His speeches marking every step of an incredible life.
As a former air ambulance pilot myself, I've seen firsthand the difference trauma teams can make to those in need.
Everything that William has done has been preparing for the day when he ascends to the throne.
Through triumph.
This country had a conversation on mental health that for the first time was positive and truly national.
And tragedy.
Thank you so much.
This is the story of our next king, told through his most powerful speeches.
When we hear him speak, there is no doubt that this is a man who is ready to step up and take on that top job.
On June the 21st, which was Prince William's 43rd birthday, Channel 5 aired a brand new royal documentary. Prince William, Passion, Honour and Duty, gives us a portrait not just of a future king, but of a man devoted to fatherhood, public service and private resilience. In this video, we're breaking down what the documentary revealed about Prince William's early life, his military career, and most importantly, his life so far as a modern royal dad, raising 3 children in the spotlight. So let's dive in. The documentary first dives into one of Prince William's first ever speeches back in November 2008 when he spoke at Centerpoint. For the Prince of Wales, Centerpoint has always been a charity close to his heart, as it was once the charity that was a patron of his late mother, Princess Diana. It was also one of the charities that the Prince of Wales visited the most as a young boy. As when he was younger, the Prince of Wales used to go there with his mother and younger brother Prince Harry to see the homeless people and play games with them and help them with food and stuff like that, according to reports. One of the unique things that the Prince of Wales did was sleep rough. The documentary yesterday explained that the reason the Prince of Wales wanted to sleep rough was because he wanted to know how it felt. He wanted this experience so he could truly help those and truly understand what homeless people were going through. This was probably the first time that a future king had decided to sleep on the streets. After looking a bit at his speeches, the documentary continues with a reflective look of Prince William's early years. Born back in 1982, Prince William was the first child of the then Prince Charles and the then Princess Diana. From the moment he entered the world, Prince William was watched, photographed and speculated upon. According to the documentary, Prince William was born right in the middle of when there was a surge in interest in the British royal family, and so everywhere he went he was photographed because people were super interested in him and, his family and stuff like that. Back then, there were also less privacy laws, so people had more access to follow the royal family wherever they went, whereas nowadays there's more privacy laws to protect them. So they can have privacy alongside their public duty. There was also a part of the documentary that mentioned how Princess Diana made both of her boys queue for rides, just like any other child their age. And there was also mention of how Princess Diana made sure that the boys had days where they were eased into public royal duty, but also days where they could just be boys and play at the theme park and stuff like that. Apparently she separated this so they'd have play days and then royal days. And that's according to reports.
She understood that there was a real life outside of palace walls, and she wanted us to see it from a very young age, and really understood some of the real problems in life that you can pass you by very easily, particularly in this situation.
She was adamant that her 2 boys may be growing up within this very unique family and within a palace, but they also needed an appreciation of just how privileged and fortunate they were.
Famously, she took him to see the homeless, she took him to see the sick in hospital. I remember her telling me she'd smuggled William and Harry into a hospital through the back door to see someone he was dying of AIDS, actually. She did make this extraordinary effort to show them face to face what being underprivileged and in difficulty and in trouble looks like.
She introduced all sorts of things into William's young life that are now common among other generations of the royal family. But at that time, it was groundbreaking.
The strong bond both William and younger brother Harry shared with their mother was captured in magical scenes of them reuniting on board the royal yacht Britannia.
She told me that I shower my boys with love and cuddles because I didn't have any as a child, which was very sad to hear.
Diana's love for both her sons is again on show, with her having fun and sharing a thrilling moment with them on a theme park ride.
So she said, I just give them great big kisses. And William now is of an age when he says, oh, Mum, stop it, she said. But I know, really, that they love it.
The documentary also touched gently but powerfully on the devastating death of Prince William and Prince Harry's mother back in 1997, a devastating event that shaped both Prince William's worldview and his approach to public life. The scene of Prince William, aged 15, walking behind Diana's coffin is shown again within this documentary, not just as history, but as an emotional cornerstone of his personal transformation. In the documentary, we also get rare insight into Prince William's teenage years, specifically his time in sixth form at Eton College, the prestigious all-boys boarding school just across the river from Windsor Castle. Prince William himself gave reflections from that period, describing how Eton was both a bubble and a breather. Despite being a royal, he said he tried to live like any other student, sharing dorms, doing laundry and playing sports. While he was at Eton College, Prince William played water polo, took part in drama and formed close friendships that helped him stay grounded. Importantly, he was given a degree of privacy, no press on campus, something he later admitted was a blessing. For Prince William, Eton wasn't just education, it was an escape, a place to figure out who he was, away from palace walls. The documentary also touched on a formative chapter in Prince William's life, his gap year following his time at Eton College. It highlighted how he took part in his very first press conference, where he spoke candidly about his plans and the value of service. Prince William spent time working in remote areas, including time in the forest, where he reportedly famously received his A-level results. One of the most striking details was how he funded the gap year himself, raising around £5,000 needed through his own efforts, rather than relying heavily on financial help from his father, the then Prince Charles. According to the documentary, his father offered limited support, making Prince William's independence during this period all the more notable. It was a year that helped shape his sense of responsibility and global awareness before stepping into university life in Scotland, and then stepping into royal duty.
Very special, who would change his life and the nation's forever.
When did you first set eyes on each other and what did you think?
Well, it's a long time ago now, Tom. I'm trying to rack my brain about it all. But we met at university at St Andrews, and we were friends for over a year first, and it just sort of blossomed from then on.
William broke his own golden rule, effectively, in that famous engagement interview with ITV News and Tom Bradby back in 2010, because he started talking about the romance. You know, here was William putting real flesh on the bones.
And it was a hugely significant moment. It was them telling the world for the first time about their love affair.
But how did it all begin? Studying on the east coast of Scotland would give William another chance to savour a relatively normal existence. But it was also here where his life would change forever. He met fellow art history student Kate Middleton when they were both just 19.
William's time at St Andrews University was extremely precious to him because an agreement had been reached with the media where he was to be left alone. And he relished that opportunity just to be William Wills. And he moved in with friends, Fergus Boyd, Olivia Bleasdale, and one Catherine Middleton, to a Victorian terraced house, a typical student home, nothing fancy, certainly a long way from the palaces he'd grown up in.
It was inside this modest student house where William's friendship with Catherine grew into their famous royal romance. Their closeness on display in this sunny student picture, showing them to be a happy, carefree couple.
And as you've seen, the documentary then spoke about how Prince William met Catherine Middleton, as she was known as then, at university in Scotland. They both attended St Andrews University in Scotland, and they were both living together, and that's how they basically met. And from there, basically their romance, obviously grew, and then eventually they got, engaged. Of course, there was a period where Prince William went to Sandhurst, and obviously I think they briefly spent time apart, but I don't think they stayed away from each other for very long before they then, got engaged and then obviously married. Now, the documentary also mentioned how Prince William and the then Catherine Middleton's engagement was really, really popular, and how people further got really, really excited about this new wedding. And apparently only a couple of thousand guests, close family, friends, that kind of stuff, people they went to university with, were invited to the inside of the chapel to watch them actually get married. And also, the documentary also briefly mentioned how many people actually watched it live on television. I think it was around 2.6 billion people watched them get married, like live on television or something like that. And that's across all social medias and TV, broadcasting and stuff like that. That's not just one place.
I remember the planning. I remember the rehearsals. I remember Kate would go out in the middle of the night to Westminster Abbey, and there'd be rehearsals and things taking place.
William marrying Kate Middleton was the first time in, centuries that a future king had married a commoner. I mean, he could have had his pick of any blue-blooded aristocrat that he wanted. He happened to fall in love with a girl next door.
The day promised to be a wedding like no other.
There were networks from all around the world, and it was an incredible occasion. I mean, it was wonderful to report on because it was just such a happy, happy moment.
And it looks absolutely like the fairy tale wedding. I think there was a real sense of this being about the couple and the bringing of their two worlds together. So inside the Abbey, yes, you had overseas heads of state, but you also had lots of people that the couple knew, personal friends given really prominent positions in the Abbey. Also, people who Kate had known when she was growing up.
The glorious wedding went off without a hitch, with William not fluffing his most important line.
I, William Arthur Philip Louis.
I, William Arthur Philip Louis.
Take thee, Catherine Elizabeth.
Take thee, Catherine Elizabeth.
To my wedded wife.
To my wedded wife.
It all went to plan. It was a wonderful, wonderful occasion.
And approval there was plenty as the new princess emerged into spring sunshine on the steps of the Abbey. As they settle into the open-top carriage, she asks her new husband, "Are you happy?" and seems pleased with his response.
And also this wonderful, bright new chapter for William. The boy we'd seen grow up without his mother, now happy with his bride, with his lovely Kate.
After covering the grandeur of the royal wedding, the documentary turned to a more personal milestone, the birth of the then Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's first child, Prince George Alexander Louis. Born back on July the 22nd back in 2013 at St Mary's Hospital in London, his arrival marked a historic moment, securing the line of succession as the future king after his father and grandfather. It was a joyful day for both the royal family and the public, welcoming a new generation into the monarchy. The documentary emphasised just how hands-on Prince William was as a father right from the beginning. He changed nappies, helped with feeds, and remained actively involved in raising Prince George. A pattern that continued with the births of both Princess Charlotte on May 2nd, 2015, and Prince Louis on April the 23rd back in 2018, both also born at St Mary's Hospital in London. Each time the proud parents shared their joy with the world, briefly stepping into the spotlight before retreating into privacy to focus on family life. The Prince and Princess of Wales are known to be deeply protective of their children. The documentary highlighted how they have worked hard to balance royal duty of providing a normal, grounded upbringing, school runs, play dates, and everyday routines included. They are widely considered the most hands-on royal parents ever, showing that even within a centuries-old institution, parenting with love, presence, and modern values can thrive. After talking about their family life, the documentary briefly mentions about Prince William and Prince Harry's broken-down relationship. The documentary spoke about how they were once really, really close, but now their relationship is apparently really rocky. And obviously we know about the Spare book and the bombshell interviews that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have done. And obviously the documentary speaks about that and how the royal family have sort of mostly maintained a dignified silence, but there have been reports of things that Prince William has said about the situation with his brother and his sister-in-law, Meghan Markle. The documentary delved into the emotional, much-discussed rift between Prince William and Prince Harry, a relationship once described as unbreakable. It explored how the introduction of Meghan Markle marked a significant turning point, leading to growing tensions between the brothers. While the two princes were once incredibly close, they were now apart. The documentary suggested that their paths began to diverge dramatically. Prince Harry, feeling increasingly disillusioned with royal life, chose to step away and publicly express his frustrations, which was obviously wrong, including through a series of bombshell interviews alongside Meghan. And of course, as we know now, many of these were just like over-exaggerated falsehoods that were probably taken out of context in the most, just to, sort of ruin the reputation of the royal family. In contrast, Prince William remained steadfast in his royal role, focusing on duty, family, and preserving the institution he was born to support. The film frames the rift not just as personal fallout, but as a clash between the two very different life choices, one rooted in service, and the other in self-promotion and basically annoyance, in my opinion. And also, I must say, right, if Meghan and Harry wanted to leave the royal family, that's completely their choice, but they didn't need to, mock the royal family, mock the late Queen, and start, making a bunch of problems for the royal family, and start making up, exaggerated lies, and doing bombshell interviews for attention and stuff. If they wanted to leave the monarchy, they should have just left and be done with it. Why did they have to just make it so dramatic? Why did they have to just try and destroy the monarchy or disrespect their family members? You know what I'm saying? In some parts of this documentary, it's actually really hard to see the amazing bond that Prince William and Prince Harry once had, and it was completely ruined by, in my opinion, Meghan Markle. It was completely ruined by that. They had such a fantastic bond and they were so close. And, when Meghan joined, I was like, oh my gosh, there's going to be the Fab Four and we're going to have so many amazing appearances and they're going to work together and make some amazing charities together. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing. Meghan is going to be amazing. And then obviously Meghan left the royal family with Harry and I was like, okay, fine, they've decided that choice in their life. And then obviously, they started getting nasty on the television and started doing those documentaries. And I just completely was like, nah, I just don't like Harry and Meghan anymore. And it was really sad to watch this documentary and see the bond that Prince William had with with Prince Harry. And I remember when Prince Harry was younger, a couple of years ago, when he was really, really dutiful royal and he just had such a fantastic personality. And to see him basically not be with his brother anymore and to ruin the bond that they once had was really, really sad to watch, actually. It was a really sad and angry part of the documentary, and I remember watching it last night and I was like, oh my gosh, what a sad part of the documentary. How sad that we have gone from Prince William and Prince Harry being really close to each other and the rest of the family and respectful and stuff, to now Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who we once really liked. We all really liked Meghan Markle once, or most people did, or some people did, and to now be Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, now just constantly appearing on the news, moaning about how their family won't give them security and how their family won't give them basically attention and how their family will basically ignore their calls after they spent 6 months or something being rude to the royal family, being disrespectful to the royal family, mocking the late Queen. The way that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle acted to the late Queen was absolutely disgusting. And people wonder why people don't like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle anymore. They've just shown blatant disrespect to basically everybody, including the British monarchy. So the documentary also continues, basically talking about King Charles's cancer diagnosis and also the Princess of Wales's cancer diagnosis last year. Now, obviously, this was a very difficult time for Prince William and his family. But the documentary did speak about how the Prince of Wales, despite going through a very tough time at home, he continued royal duty. He continued, balancing, looking after the Princess of Wales at home and making sure that King Charles was okay and stuff like that. And I think that he's done an incredible job. And I think a lot of people looked up to him for that because last year especially, Prince William went through a really, really hard time. And he's still going through a pretty tough time at the moment because the king is still receiving cancer treatment, and the Princess of Wales is still recovering from her treatment last year. So I think that they're still going through a pretty tough time, and they're still trying to, pace themselves, But I think that Prince William has still served amazingly alongside a really tough year last year. And this year it's been lovely to see the King and the Princess of Wales back out and about. But hopefully the Princess of Wales and the King are both on the mend now. But yes, the documentary mentioned how Prince William has put duty first, but also put his family first as well. And obviously we are all hoping that the Princess of Wales and the King both make 100% recoveries very soon. The Princess of Wales obviously announced last September that she was in, she completed a treatment, and then in January January of this year, she announced that she was in remission from cancer, and that was earlier this year. But despite being in remission, she is still, pacing herself. She is still recovering, and she's still recovering. So she's not back to royal duties 100%. She's still easing herself back into royal duties alongside, pacing herself, which is obviously quite rightly. She should be pacing herself and taking her time to come back to royal duties, especially after treatment from cancer last year. And of course, through all of this, the Prince and Princess of Wales have had to make sure that there is some normality going for their 3 children, who are still really young. So I think they've both done a fantastic job, despite everything that's been going on recently. If I remember rightly, I think the documentary also does mention a bit of what the Prince of Wales has been doing this year with the Princess of Wales, and how he has worked for Homewoods and Earthshot and stuff like that. I think that this documentary speaks about passion and family, and how both of them are at the heart of Prince William's royal duty. All in all, the documentary was really interesting, but there were some parts of it that were really, really hard to watch and really emotional, but there were some parts of it that were really enjoyable to watch. One of the bits that I took away from this documentary was how, dutiful and how kind Prince William is. He is dedicating his whole life to the monarchy, but he's also a very hands-on father, and he puts his children first, and then obviously he works his royal duty around them, and he's very close to a lot of members of the royal family, and everything he doesn't go around saying, oh yeah, I'm royal. He goes around and he acts like a normal person, he connects with people. I think that's what makes the Prince of Wales, and the Princess of Wales for that matter, quite special royals. And the King does it as well. He connects with people, and Queen Camilla does it, and I think that most of the senior royals these days connect with people in a special way, and treat them as if they are another one of them, basically. I think when it comes down to Prince William, he wants to connect with people, and he wants to make sure that at the heart of his royal duty is family and passion. Prince William wants to make a real difference, and I think he'll be a future king that is very, very, very passionate about making a true difference in society. Basically continuing what King Charles is doing, just in a different way. I definitely think that Prince William is a modern king for the future.